had a meeting under the directive of Mr. President regarding the border measures that have been taken, the border drills that has been undertaken by Nigeria, and of course the repercussions of those, and the desire of Mr. President that the issues that are being addressed and that caused the drills to be taking place on our borders should be addressed as quickly as possible. So in this context, within the next 2 weeks, a tripartite committee is to be convened and hosted here in Nigeria, comprising a delegation, the committee from Benin Republic, from Niger, and from Nigeria. So each country will come with the heads of the Ministries of Foreign Affairs, Interior, Finance, the Customs, Immigration, and NIA, the security segment. So this meeting will take place within the next 2 weeks. So we've met the Nigerian committee to look at the situation. And we have agreed on a set of conditions. Now, these conditions or conditionalities are as follows: that it is an absolute requirement of the government of Nigeria that any imports coming through the land borders, our land borders, when those imports are transit in goods, that is to say, when they are coming from outside the ECOWAS region and imported into an ECOWAS member state, that those goods should retain their original packaging. There should be no modification whatsoever to the packaging on those goods imported into an ECOWAS member state destined for Nigeria. So the original packaging, and they must be escorted from the port directly to the entry points, designated entry points on the Nigerian borders. So presented to Nigerian customs, okay, with the packaging intact and those goods escorted. This is an absolute condition that will not be compromised. So any transit in goods coming to this country, that those countries, transit countries, ECOWAS member states, must ensure that. For goods produced predominantly produced in ECOWAS member states, the rules of origin must be satisfied. So we have to avoid any possibility of dumping. So if goods are produced in ECOWAS member states, those goods must be in majority produced in those countries. Or if they are coming from outside ECOWAS, the value addition made by an ECOWAS country must be over 50% for it to be accepted within the framework of the economic trade liberalization scheme that ECOWAS countries have to promote trade amongst ourselves. So any goods coming from an ECOWAS country claimed to be to originate in an ECOWAS member state must be over 50% have input of an ECOWAS member state, to avoid situations where countries outside the ECOWAS region would merely export their goods into ECOWAS member states, repackage as coming from those ECOWAS member states with little addition, value addition, and exported to Nigeria. So we will absolutely insist on the respect of the ECOWAS rules of origin, ensuring that they actually do come from within an ECOWAS member state in large part. We absolutely insist on the dismantling of all the warehouses along our common borders with the countries with which we have borders, within a certain distance from the borders. So along the borders, no more warehouses, and we will insist on their being dismantled. On the transportation of goods within ECOWAS and across borders, we will now insist on proper recognized packaging of those goods. No longer will we have, goods, all shapes and sizes, just going through the borders. We're going to have an accepted conditions for the packaging of goods that will be transported by road across our borders to maintain best practices in the packaging of those goods. With regards to the free movement of persons, we will now absolutely insist that all persons coming into Nigeria through land borders must present themselves at recognized entry points, first and foremost, and must have recognized travel documents. And as far as Nigeria is concerned, recognized travel documents means passports, officially recognized passports. Now, a number of countries have ID cards, identity cards, and ECOWAS is moving to a position where other forms of identities will be captured within an ECOWAS mechanism. That has not happened yet, so until that happens and ECOWAS has formally captured the certain documents, if they are not passports of countries, until that happens, all we will recognize in Nigeria for now as travel documents are passports, officially recognized passports. So no longer will we accept anybody coming into the country through land borders with anything other than recognized passports. So this is what we have agreed. But also, of course, I've spoken about the tripartite meeting that will be taking place within the next 2 weeks of Niger, Benin, and Nigeria. Now, as you know, there are other ECOWAS member states that are also facing challenges, huge challenges, because of the border measures that we have taken. Now, we have agreed on the preconditions for goods to enter Nigeria, and these preconditions apply for all the ECOWAS member states. Now, for those other countries, such as Ghana and the others that are that have goods that are stuck on our borders, the Controller General of Customs, after the conditions that we have agreed to in this meeting, will now go back and after further engagement, internal engagement, we'll be able to announce when the countries outside the tripartite, a group of countries, Nigeria, Benin, and Niger, the other countries will now be informed as to when they can start. We will start allowing their goods to come into the country, because of course there have been challenges in being able at this moment in time to differentiate between the provenance, the sources of the goods coming in, and but now that we have established these global standards and conditions, we hope that very, very shortly we'll be able to allow goods coming from those countries to come in unchallenged. We would like to take this opportunity also to acknowledge the very positive steps that have been taken by both Niger and the Benin Republic. As you will know, they have put in place measures, laws banning the exportation of rice. Re-exportation, but when they come into their country, re-exporting of rice. And we believe also that this will go a long way in addressing the mischief that this border drill was designed to address. So we acknowledge with appreciation the laws they have put in place to prevent any re-exportation or re-exportation, of rice from Niger and Benin Republic. So that is where we are at this particular point in time. I will maybe open the floor or the microphone, and there is complete free movement of persons within the hours 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening. There's free movement through the land borders, of people. So what we've been addressing are goods, the issue of movement of goods. Thank you very much.
For now, we're not considering that. What we consider, like the Honourable Minister has explained, is that we're going to sit with these countries. We're going to put across these demands, and it is our belief that we will reach an agreement. And once that agreement is reached, then we'll start implementing it. And as to whether there will be penalties, when we do get to the agreement and agree, then we will draw up measures of what will happen if we breach. But for now, we are just setting forward those agreements, and at the batch of getting the agreement signed, then we will now agree on what would be some consequences if we do breach the agreement. But for now, I think our main focus is the agreement. 31st January is an operational program. What we do in operations like this, you set time limit for logistics and other tactical requirements. So the issue of 31st January is not a terminal date. It's not a terminal date. If all these things are put together and we reach an agreement, we could even relax all these things before 31st of January. So it's not sacrosanct, but it's not a terminal date. We can also go surpass January 31st and still hold on to what we are doing.
Very good.